Hello everyone and welcome to Ash's Whiskey Wars. And for today's Whiskey War, it feels like I've not filmed one in a minute. It's good to be back. And I've just finished up recording my neck pour for the Tobermory 12. And I'm just rushing into it with this Arran 10. Because if you haven't checked the neck pour out of that whiskey, I do recommend doing so. I loved it. What better Whiskey War to compare this to than another island whiskey that I just adore too. Now I bought this one back in November and as you can see I enjoyed this one very much. We'll definitely be buying both of these again. And we have the Arran 10, obviously a 10-year-old Arran whiskey, bottled at 46% versus the Tobermory 12 which is bottled at 46.3%. As is just common practice with Tobermory. I think a lot of people out there, quite rightly, adore the Arran 10, me included, but maybe haven't had the Tobermory 12, or maybe just the Tobermory 12 doesn't get as much hype or as much love. So hopefully in today's Whiskey War, we'll find out, should the Tobermory get more attention or more love? Should more people try it? Or is Arran 10 still the one to go for? And just before we get stuck in, guys, I'd really appreciate it if you could click that like button and that subscribe button. That'd be much appreciated. I'm in a really good mood today. Both of these whiskies are actually finished in ex-bourbon cask, which I love. I'm getting really into just plain ex-bourbon cask. It really does show me what the distillery, the DNA of the distillery is. Now, I enjoy casking. I think it's so interesting. You can get some beautiful whiskies from different casks, but I really like to understand what the distillery is all about, what their actual DNA is, and I think you can't look past. You cannot look past ex-bourbon cask for that experience. The older I get as well, the less cask dominant I'm feeling I'm becoming. We all change with age. Okay, let's get stuck in. Tobermory 12. What do I get on the nose? It's oily, and I think this is a common thing with a lot of island whiskies. And this is why it should have its own region. For those, I know it's a little bit of a debate, but I think everyone's verging on the side of island region should be its own region. They are more oily, but they do have a little bit of a salty touch to them, which I just think balances the whiskey out really well. But talking about the Tobermory 12, that touch of salt, oiliness, but mainly this sweetness, and it's fruity, but it's natural smelling. I get orchard fruits, so apples and pears. And there's this really fresh, juicy, watery peach note, which just adds such a lovely dimension to the whiskey. It's also very floral and also herbal, grassy as well. I always think this whiskey reminds me of a spring meadow in the British countryside. Compare it to the Arran. Very different. Similarities, but big differences. Very oily. I would say more oily than the Tobermory, but the Tobermory is still an oily whiskey, in my opinion. More watery, more natural. Arran definitely feels nuttier. There's a lot of nuts. I get no nuts in Tobermory. In Arran, it's nutty. It's oily and it's nutty, which brings a completely different dynamic to the whiskey. It doesn't have that watery, fresh, fruity feel. There's no spring meadow, orchard vibe to the whiskey. This is a bit darker, a bit moodier, a bit more intense, just oily and nutty. Again, there is that peach note, but in the Arran, I feel like the peach note comes across more syrupy. So like a tinned peach with the syrup in, and it's viscous. Whereas the Tobermory feels like a fresh, juicy peach, watery peach. So similar, but different. Okay, let's get stuck into the taste, starting with the Tobermory. Fresh, natural, juicy, fruity, oily, touch of salt, touch of oak, spice. It's just a fantastic whiskey. I'm really going to be singing a lot of praises for this whiskey in the future. Compare that to the Arran initially. That's oily. This is oilier considerably. This is 2x on the oil. I love oily whiskies, by the way. I think the finish is longer on the Arran. The nuttiness still comes through. Not as strong as the nose, but it's still present, and I love that. I think perhaps a touch more salt, but don't go thinking it's salty, because it really isn't. I just spent a couple of minutes battling them against each other, because I wanted to see both have an oak presence, a woody nature to the whiskies, and I wanted to see which one was woodier. The big difference though is I do feel like the Arran, maybe because it's 2 years younger, but on the taste it's pretty clear, has a more spirit forward nature to its flavour. And I also think the Tobermory is more complex than the Arran, but the Arran has this beautiful note to it, that oily nuttiness, but with that tinned peach, and it's just a note that I just adore, and it's more pronounced than it is in the Tobermory. So there's aspects of the Arran that I prefer, but there is a spirit forward touch to it. So it's a difficult one. I love them both in their own right. Like I say, these are two of my favourite whiskies. I'm definitely going to be buying both again. Probably the Arran first. But it just goes to show that I think the Tobermory it needs to be checked out a little bit more. But I'm actually preferring the Tobermory, guys. So maybe it's sacrilege in the comments, but please let me know in the comments down below, guys, what you think of these two whiskies, if you had them both, and if you have, which do you prefer? I know the Arran 10 is going to win, but I'm just being completely open and honest, having these two whiskies side by side, and I think I prefer the Tobermory 12 to the Arran 10. Now, to be fair, if Arran released a 12-year-old, perhaps I would be favouring the Arran, just because that extra 2 years could take that ethanol kick off the whiskey, that spirit forward nature a little bit more, maybe add a little bit more complexity as well at the same time, and that coconutty, hazelnutty oiliness is insane. I love it, and I love that tinned peach note. And perhaps I'd be like, no, the Arran 12, let's say, way better. But as it stands as a 10-year-old, and as this stands right now, I'm favouring the Tobermory. But the point I do want to make in this video is both are fantastic, fantastic whiskies. I'm really sensing my preference in whiskey, my palate is turning, and I'm really enjoying my Highland whiskies and Island whiskies that just have a balance to them. So I'm really enjoying the Oban 14, the Clynelish 14, the Tobermory 12, the Arran 10. I'm really favouring those whiskies at this moment in time. Bunnahabhain's as well. I know that's Islay, but they all share this balance to them in different ways. And that's where my taste preference is at this moment in time. I used to be the peat guy. I used to think, I still adore peat, but I seem to be favouring this at the minute. Tobermory 12, check it out. I really do recommend it. I know a lot of people don't though, so do take this with a pinch of salt. This is just my opinion. and I know a lot of people prefer the Arran 10. I know some people just don't like the Tobermory 12, so I am interested in knowing your opinions in the comments down below. Let me know your honest thoughts. And as always guys, if you would be so kind as to click the like button and hit that subscribe button, that would be much appreciated. It just really helps the channel out, really. Thank you so much for watching this Whiskey War, and I hope to see you all for the next Whiskey War.